Imagine a sterile white world where emotions are illegal
Come on, stand up.
We are only here to help you.
and humans are reduced to numbers in a corporate-controlled dystopia. THX 1138 opens with this chilling vision of humanity's future. But audiences in 1971 weren't ready for George Lucas's uncompromising artistic statement that prioritized intellectual rigor over entertainment value. When THX 1138 premiered in 1971, it emerged from the new Hollywood movement that was revolutionizing American cinema. This was the era of Easy Riders and Bonnie and Clyde, when young filmmakers were challenging studio conventions with bold artistic visions. Lucas, fresh out of USC Film School, wanted to prove that science fiction could be serious art rather than B-movie exploitation. With a minimal budget of just $777,000 and backing from Warner Bros., the film earned only $2.4 million worldwide. That commercial failure nearly ended Lucas's directing career before Star Wars saved him 6 years later. So what happened? How did the future creator of the most successful film franchise in history make a movie so brilliant that nobody wanted to watch it? Today, we're exploring why THX 1138 was too smart for its own good. Let's start with what THX 1138 achieved on an impossible budget. Lucas created one of cinema's most distinctive dystopian worlds using minimal resources and maximum creativity. The sterile white environments weren't built on sound stages. They were existing locations transformed through brilliant cinematography. The Marin County Civic Center became a futuristic government complex. BART subway tunnels turned into underground prison corridors. The visual design uses white as a symbol of oppression rather than purity. Every surface is bleached and antiseptic. Characters wear identical white uniforms that erase individual identity. The production design makes the future feel emotionally vacant rather than technologically exciting. It's minimalism as psychological weapon. Lucas pioneered guerrilla filmmaking techniques that would influence independent cinema for decades. He shot in real locations without permits. Available light replaced expensive lighting setups. Handheld cameras created documentary-style immediacy. The film proved that ambitious science fiction could be made without elaborate sets or expensive effects. The sound design by Walter Murch created an oppressive audio landscape that made silence feel threatening. Industrial hums fill every quiet moment. Computer voices provide cold comfort. The absence of music emphasizes emotional emptiness. Sound becomes another tool of control in this dystopian world. But here's where Lucas's artistic ambition worked against commercial success. The film prioritizes intellectual concepts over emotional engagement. Characters speak in monotone voices. Dialogue is deliberately flat and robotic. Plot moves at a glacial pace that tests audience patience. Lucas wanted viewers to feel the drugged numbness of his characters. The innovative editing created a hypnotic rhythm that mimicked the characters' medicated state. Scenes flow into each other without traditional dramatic beats. Action sequences feel dreamlike rather than exciting. The pacing reflects the world's emotional suppression. But audiences expecting science fiction thrills got experimental art film instead. Lucas was heavily influenced by European art cinema, particularly Jean-Luc Godard and Michelangelo Antonioni. He wanted to create American science fiction with the intellectual rigor of foreign films. The result feels more like Alphaville than Star Trek. This sophisticated approach impressed critics, but confused general audiences. The film's greatest technical achievement was making the future feel believable through restraint rather than spectacle. No flying cars or laser battles here. Technology serves control rather than convenience. Computers monitor every citizen. Drugs suppress individual thought. Corporate efficiency replaces human warmth. The performances in THX 1138 showcase actors achieving the impossible task of creating humanity within dehumanizing roles. Robert Duvall delivers a remarkably physical performance as THX 1138. Duvall conveys intelligence and emotion through subtle body language rather than dialogue. His shaved head and blank expression hide a thinking, feeling person struggling against systematic oppression. Watch Duvall in the early scenes where THX begins questioning his medicated existence. The actor shows awakening consciousness through tiny facial expressions, a slight hesitation before taking pills, brief eye contact with forbidden emotions. Duvall makes the audience care about someone designed to be emotionally vacant. The challenge was enormous. How do you create compelling characters when the story demands they be interchangeable units? Duvall found the solution through method acting techniques. He discovered the human core beneath the institutional conditioning. His performance works because he never forgets that THX was once fully human. Donald Pleasance brings neurotic energy to SEN 5241, the conformist neighbor who represents everything wrong with this society. Pleasance shows how the system creates paranoid citizens who police each other. His ESEN is simultaneously victim and collaborator. Pleasance makes him pathetic rather than villainous. The scenes between Duvall and Pleasance crackle with unspoken tension. These aren't friends having conversations. They're surveillance subjects performing normalcy for hidden monitors. Both actors understand they're playing people who've forgotten how to be genuine. Maggie McComey provides the film's emotional center as LUH3417. McComey represents forbidden love and maternal instinct in a world that has outlawed both. Her relationship with THX awakens his humanity. McComey had to show natural emotion breaking through pharmaceutical suppression. Her performance makes the love story believable, despite the clinical setting. McComey's best moments come when LUH stops taking her medication, and the actress shows personality emerging from chemical fog. Her growing warmth contrasts sharply with the sterile environment. McComey creates the film's most human character, while remaining true to the dystopian constraints. Don Pedro Cali creates an unsettling presence as SRT, the holographic advisor. Cali embodies the system's false comfort and digital manipulation. His soothing voice masks authoritarian control. The performance shows how technology can simulate human warmth while remaining fundamentally inhuman. These performances reinforce the film's central themes about dehumanization and control. Every actor faced the challenge of conveying personality while playing characters designed to be interchangeable. They had to make audiences care about people who've been systematically stripped of their humanity. Robert Duvall was chosen because Lucas needed an actor who could convey intelligence through physical performance rather than dialogue. The critical reception of THX 1138 revealed a film industry struggling to understand what Lucas had created. The New York Times called it a stunning debut that announces a major filmmaking talent. Critics praised its visual innovation and intellectual ambition, but many reviews struggled with its emotional coldness and abstract storytelling approach. Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars while acknowledging its challenging nature. He wrote that the film creates a convincing future world, but keeps audiences at arm's length. Ebert appreciated the technical achievements while questioning whether art film techniques worked for science fiction. His mixed response captured the general critical confusion. Variety focused on commercial concerns rather than artistic merit. They called it a difficult sell for general audiences, while praising the production design. The trade publication understood that Warner Brothers had a marketing nightmare on their hands. How do you sell experimental art as mainstream entertainment? Warner Brothers executives were completely baffled by what they had financed. Studio head Ted Ashley reportedly said he didn't understand a single scene. The executives demanded cuts that Lucas refused to make. This conflict would influence Lucas's later insistence on creative control over his projects. Audiences were genuinely confused by what they encountered in theaters. Many expected traditional science fiction adventure and found experimental art film instead. The abstract storytelling and minimal plot left viewers unsatisfied. Word of mouth was poor despite critical respect for its ambitions. The box office performance was catastrophic for Lucas personally. The film's failure nearly ended his directing career before it properly began. Lucas became convinced that artistic filmmaking was commercially impossible. This experience directly influenced his decision to make Star Wars as accessible entertainment rather than art film. International reception was slightly better than domestic response. European audiences seemed more receptive to the film's art house approach. Film festivals celebrated its innovative techniques and social commentary. But even international appreciation couldn't compensate for American commercial failure. The film's cold, clinical tone divided audiences who did see it. Some found the emotional detachment appropriate for its dystopian themes. Others felt alienated by characters they couldn't connect with emotionally. The deliberate lack of warmth served artistic purposes while hurting audience engagement. But home video gave THX 1138 an unexpected renaissance. Cable television broadcasts introduced it to viewers without theatrical expectations. Settings where viewers could process its abstract concepts without commercial pressure. Film schools began teaching it as an example of uncompromising artistic vision. Academic appreciation replaced commercial success as the measure of its worth. Legacy THX 1138's influence on later works proves its vision was decades ahead of its time. The film's sterile aesthetic became the template for dystopian cinema. Blade Runner borrowed its corporate-controlled future. The Matrix used similar white environments for digital imprisonment. Countless films adopted its visual language of oppression through design. The sound design innovations by Walter Murch influenced how films create oppressive atmospheres. The use of industrial noise and computer voices became standard for dystopian storytelling. Modern sci-fi films still use THX 1138's audio techniques to make technology feel threatening rather than helpful. Lucas's guerrilla filmmaking techniques inspired independent science fiction for decades. Directors learned they could create convincing futures without massive budgets. The film proved that location shooting and clever cinematography could replace expensive sets. Student filmmakers still study its resourceful production methods. But the film's greatest legacy is its prophetic accuracy about surveillance cultures and corporate control. Lucas anticipated social media monitoring, pharmaceutical dependence, and technological addiction that define contemporary life. The dystopia he created feels less like science fiction and more like documentary about current reality. The themes about drug-controlled populations resonate powerfully today. We live in an era of antidepressants, anxiety medications, and widespread pharmaceutical dependence. The film's vision of chemically suppressed emotions doesn't seem fantastical anymore. It feels like social commentary about mental health treatment and prescription drug culture. The surveillance themes feel remarkably current in our digital age. Government monitoring, corporate data collection, and social media tracking echo the film's warnings about technological control. Lucas created a world where privacy doesn't exist decades before smartphones made it reality. Streaming platforms have given the film unexpected new life as a historical artifact. Netflix and Amazon Prime viewers discover it as a unique example of early 1970s artistic ambition. These accidental discoveries create renewed appreciation for its uncompromising vision. Younger audiences appreciate its prescient themes without expecting conventional entertainment. Film schools now teach THX 1138 as Lucas's purest artistic statement before commercial success changed his approach. It represents the road not taken in his career. Students analyze what Star Wars might have been if Lucas had prioritized art over accessibility. The film became a case study in artistic integrity versus commercial viability. The movie's reputation has improved dramatically with critics and scholars. Modern reviews praise its willingness to challenge audiences with difficult themes. The emotional detachment that hurt theatrical reception feels appropriate when viewed as artistic choice, rather than failure. Time has vindicated its uncompromising approach. Recent dystopian films follow THX 1138's template of using technology to explore human alienation. Black Mirror episodes borrow its themes about digital dependency and corporate manipulation. Her and Ex Machina use similar concepts about artificial relationships replacing human connection. The film's warnings about technological dehumanization feel more relevant now than when it was made. Small but dedicated fan communities have emerged online celebrating the film's artistic achievement. Reddit threads analyze its innovative cinematography and social commentary. Film buffs treat it as a lost masterpiece that deserves wider recognition. The movie rewards close analysis in ways that weren't appreciated during its original release. THX 1138 isn't a commercial failure that should have succeeded. It's an artistic success that was too smart, too prophetic, and too uncompromising for its contemporary audience. The film proves that some movies are destined to be appreciated by future generations rather than their original viewers. Do you think THX 1138 would find its audience if released today? Or was Lucas right to abandon this approach for more accessible filmmaking? Should more science fiction films prioritize artistic vision over commercial appeal? Was this a missed opportunity to create intelligent blockbusters, or proof that art and commerce can't coexist? Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more deep dives into the films that were too ahead of their time.